Hello. So today I'm going to be demoing to you the functionality that's available in the DigPacks Asset Booker solution. The Asset Booker solution is a Power Apps for Teams application. So from Microsoft, there is no license costs if you've already got your standard Microsoft Office E3 or E5. So this is free to use in Teams. The application is an asset booker, as the title says, and by that we mean you define the assets. So most common way it's used is for booking desks, but it's also used for car parking spaces, for pool cars, for people to have a shower when they get into work, they can book the showers, for specialist maintenance teams to book out specialist maintenance equipment, etc. The point being, you decide what assets you want to book, and then you define the time frames it's bookable by. Is it hourly? Is it AM, PM? Is it all day? You decide that time frame as well. So when we can see the asset booker now, this is the color scheme it will come with by default, but all this is configurable, so you can change this on installation or at any time afterwards, including the logo top right, so you can add your own logo to the application as well. So this application from DigPacks, what you're going to see today is effectively a starting point. So it's fully functional, lots of great features, but the point is if there's any expansion of those features that you require, any modification to those features, then you can just chat to us and we can ensure that gets sectioned for you. So what we're going to be going through today, we can see here I've got a menu of items that's available down the left hand side of the screen. And because I'm an administrator, I can see all these items. If I was a standard user, I would just see these top three items. And if terms and conditions are being enforced, I would see that option as well. So the main admin functions are these that are located towards the bottom of the menu. And so what we'll do today in the demo is we'll start at the bottom of this menu and we'll work all the way up. So we'll go through all the administration features and then we'll get to the standard user features. If we click into the terms and conditions section of the application, so we'll click there, and now what we have here is, as an administrator, I can see this cog in the top right of the screen here, the settings cog. Now if I click that, what that does, that gives me the ability to add any HTML that I want into this section. So I can use it, my favorite HTML designer, just paste that HTML into here, and that will be my terms and conditions. That can also include things like download links, etc. Also at the top here, we've got menu and page title. We can see that's set to terms and conditions. If we look behind the overlay in the left of the screen here, we can see the title of this page. So if yours isn't exactly, or you don't want it to be exactly terms and conditions, user agreement, whatever it is that you want it to be called, you can put that page title in here at the top of this pop-up, and that will be the page title. Small point, if you leave this empty, then the terms and conditions option will not appear on the menu for standard users. There's no terms and conditions entered, there's no terms and conditions for a user to accept, so they just will not appear. Now, if you enter your terms and conditions and or you change your terms and conditions, you can check this checkbox at the bottom here to force new agreement to be accepted by all users. So this, for a standard user, will push them to the terms and conditions page and they will not be able to proceed until they accept those terms and conditions. I'll give you a quick example of that. So we've updated the terms and conditions, and now as a standard user I'll be pushed to this page. Now I'll have to check the checkbox to agree to the terms and conditions after of course reading them. Click that to save. This will then update when I as a user have updated those accepted those terms and conditions, and this will be logged to the audit table. Now we'll move on to the Manage Admin Users section. So this is, as the name implies, these are the administration users for the application. So we can see here we've got all, and this is for the users that we've added to this section that we want to give special privileges. So there can be many users in your team, but the only users that you need to add here are those that you wish to give either admin privilege or group booking privilege. So we can see here Mike down the bottom. He's previously had one of these privileges. We can remove him if we want to, or we can just leave him here. That's fine. But we can also see Billy. He's a standard user, but you can see that he's got the book group functionality available to him. And then we get to the administrators. So Bill is an administrator. By default, an administrator has the group booking capability. So the group booking, just quick explanation, we can collect assets together in a group. So if we talk about the common usage scenario of desks, we can group a number of desks together as the IT desks or as the HR desks, for example, and then an administrator or someone with group booking privilege can go along and book all the HR desks in one go. And we'll go into that further as we move through. So up the top of this screen here, we've got the filters that are available. So we can filter by a user's name. So we can just type in part of their name, that will filter down to them, and we can change their privilege as appropriate. Or we can look at specific admin types. So we've got the admin users, we can just filter the radio button, and we've got those standard users that are able to book groups. If we want to add new users, we just come to this combo box here and we can type in the name of a user we wish to make an administrator. Okay, so now we'll move into the management of the asset types. So selecting this from the menu, we can see, and this is really what defines the application in the sense that you can define your asset that you want to be booked, and then you can define its booking period. So in this example, if we select desk, so we want to be able to book desks, but in these demo examples here, we also want to be able to book meeting rooms, staff car parking, visitor car parking. The point being, it's completely open to you what type of asset you want to be bookable. So you literally just add this here, click the save, that will then make that asset type available, and then you put your time slots on the right hand side against that asset. So going through the example, the common example of a desk. So we've added a desk. Now we've got an option here to send emails when that is booked, or we can turn that off and people by default will not get an email. And now once we've added our desk, we can add our time slots. So I've decided that I want this to be bookable via the AM and PM. So if you want to book a desk, you can book it for the morning or the afternoon or both. Now we can see here I've put in my time slot, which is just free text, up to you what you describe this as long as your users will understand that. And I'll show you through some of the other examples for the other asset types that have been set up shortly. But we can see here AM, I have to map an actual time to it. And the reason for this is that when somebody books for the AM slot, we're going to put an entry into their calendar. So we need to know what time from until that entry is going to be. So if somebody books an AM slot for a desk, we're going to put an entry in their calendar for 7 till 12. Similarly, if they put a PM booking in, then we're going to put that calendar entry for 12 till 5. We can also see further down here, we've got other items like book ahead period. Now this book ahead period is how far ahead do you want somebody to be able to book this specific asset type. So desks, we're saying we want them to be able to book 2 months ahead. But if this was a hot desk, for example, you may say, well, no, a hot desk, I just want to be bookable 1 day ahead. So we don't want people to queue up their bookings. We just want to see what's available tomorrow and book that. Also, we have a concept of checking in. So when you book a desk, again, for argument's sake, let's say AM, when you go to sit down at that desk, you should check in just to let them know, yes, you booked it yesterday, but now today the booking is here and you've arrived and you've checked in for that booking. And what we've got, but this is completely optional function within the system. But if you want to implement it, what you have here is you can turn on check-in cancellation. So here we can say, if they do not check in X amount of time after their booking has started, and we take that time from these drop-down lists here. So if they book for an AM, you can say if they don't check in X amount of time after that booking start time, then we'll auto cancel that booking. So here, for example, we could say if you don't check in 2 hours after your booking. So if you haven't checked in by 9, we're going to cancel your booking. Completely optional and up to you what way you work this, but the facility is there. We also have this concept of a booking reason. So some resources may be quite scarce and you want to ensure that people are booking for the right reason. So what you can do is enforce a booking reason to be required. So we can see here, these are the booking reasons that we make available to the users if they want to book a desk. So these are the options that we put out there, and we also have the option of other. So if they select other, then a free text box will be presented and they can write what their reason is. We can edit this list of booking reasons by clicking this pencil icon, and see here we have the booking reasons, and down the bottom we've got a checkbox for enabling the other option. So we can add and remove these as we feel appropriate. Now when it comes to other asset types, as said, I've booked desks by AM and PM, but if we go to our meeting rooms, we can see I've set up meeting rooms in hourly slots. And we can also see if I go to staff car park, we've set them up for all day, and the visitor car park I've set up in 2 hourly slots. The point being, it's up to you what asset type you add and what booking time it's available for. So that's your choice. We can see that there's one icon here next to showers that's red, and effectively all this says is be aware you haven't yet set up any time slots to book this asset by. So now that we've set up our asset, i.e. our desk in our common example, we'll now go to the next screen, which is manage plans. So click the menu item for manage plans, and we can see now we can choose our asset type that we've set up, desk, and we have a location. So where are these desks bookable by? So at the moment we've got Hatfield and London set up. If you want to set up others, click this pencil icon to the right, and you can just add your locations that you want to be bookable for the desk asset type. So we will select Hatfield, and we can see that I've got a plan here for first floor. Now I've got two options here. One, I can edit. So in the top right of the screen here, we can see this pencil icon. So if I click that, that gives me the option to upload a new asset plan. I'll undo this in this case. And similarly, if you're adding a new one, you click the plus new button and just browse through to an image file. So all the plans are just image files. So if you've got complex CAD software or you've got Visio diagrams for your desk layouts, then you can just literally, I just use the snipping tool, the Windows snipping tool, that snips you a nice lightweight image that you can then upload to the asset booker. Also, if you want to put in floor information, so when somebody selects this floor and this plan, you can complete this eye icon. So if we click this now, this eye icon, we can see that again, this shows us a HTML window, which again, we can use our favorite HTML design tool, and we can just paste in the HTML that's generated. This includes things like download links, images, references to other documents, etc. And so we can put that floor or that plan information on. Just a note, if you do not complete this HTML pop-up here, then this eye icon will not show on the booking screen. If you do, then it will, and it'll be available. The next item we're going to look at, the next screen, is the booking admin page. So we'll select booking admin from the menu. And this takes us to, this is really the worker screen for the administrator. So using our example, we'll select desks. We've already set up our locations, so we'll choose Hatfield, and then we added the plan of the first floor. So we'll select first floor. And now we can see this is our first floor, and this is the administration screen for a number of features that you can do around the booking of those desks. So I guess first thing to talk through first is in the bottom left of the screen, we've got a number of icons. Now to add a hotspot, as we call it, we can click this plus icon. So if I click that now, we can see now we have a choice of a bookable or a non-bookable asset. So a bookable asset in this case will be a desk, but a non-bookable asset, well, an example we've used on this one is a filing cabinet that, or the stationery cabinet that keeps all the pens and papers in, etc. But this can be for the kitchen, it can be for toilets, it can be for the fire escape, whatever it is that is on your map that you want to be highlighted, and so that people can go to very easily and go and find, then we can make a non-bookable asset. So they can find it on the map, click it, and it will highlight, but it's non-bookable. So if we were to add a bookable asset, we click the bookable, and now you can see you get this tile that appears in the middle of the screen. So you've got sliders just outside of this tile, and you can see you can make the area wider or taller, and then outside of the map on the bottom and on the left of the map, we can see we've got sliders for the horizontal and the vertical. So we can see this is how we make our hotspot uh, in terms of our size and the clickable area. So I'll cancel out of this. I'll click the undo on the bottom left. But you can see here, when we've identified hotspots here, they're light pink to us in the administration screen. That's just so that we can see where these hotspots are, where the clickable areas of the map are. And on the booking screen itself, these are actually transparent for the user. And so we've got a number of items that we can go through here. So starting down on the gallery on the left, we can see up the top we've got capacity, total 19. And that's because when you add or edit an asset, you can add a capacity next to it. So we can see in the brackets here we've got 1. Now if I scroll down a lot further, we can see we've got a meeting area here that I'll select, and we've got 4 against that. We've got a chill out area below that, and we can see we've got 2, okay, capacity of 2 there. So this total here gets summed up by the total that's available in our gallery, minus any items that are set aside. And we'll go through what set aside actually means as we go through these icons. So as you can see on the gallery, we do have a number of icons. So we'll start first with the icons on the right hand side. And this icon here, the key in the orange background, if we click that, what we get is the ability to say only certain users are allowed to book this asset. So we can see Bill and Sanjay can book this asset, but then if we go to desk 3 below and we click this, we can see only Mo can book this asset. So the point being, if there's specialist equipment or there's specialist capabilities on that particular area, like it's wheelchair accessible, or there's a specific financial software package that's installed on a desktop PC, or it's got rising desks, whatever it is that makes it special to you guys, that you feel it should be specific users only, you can set this up so that only certain people are allowed to book this. If we go to desk 5, we can see here desk 5 requires approval. So this just means that the user can go and book this desk, but it has to go through an approval process after that booking. So an approver will see it and say, yes, you can take that booking, or no, you won't. By default, it is approved. So if you can book that desk, you can book it. It's only in exceptional cases where an approver may want to come back and say, I'm sorry, for whatever reason, you can't have that desk today. Going down now to desk 6, we can see a sort of yellow no entry sign. And this indicates that the desk has been set aside. It's not bookable. So this can be for a number of reasons. So we can see the desks are mapped, they're hotspotted, but although they are as such, we're making these assets not bookable now. And this, in this scenario here, this could be to enforce social distancing under COVID times, or it could be that there's a leak above the ceiling leak in the ceiling above this desk. So different scenarios, whatever suits you, for whatever reason you feel you want to set this desk aside. And a small point there, so if you click the icon, you can set this desk aside, but you can also choose a reason. So if there was a leak above the ceiling, you could say a leak, and then if a user browses this on the booking screen, that will be tooltipped to them. As we go further through these icons, we can see top left of the gallery here, we have an eye icon. And so if I click that eye icon, that gives us the ability to add properties to this specific asset. So we can see here, desk one with added properties that say it's wheelchair accessible. There's a 24-inch monitor and it's a window seat. And those properties are searchable from the search screen, which we will get to further on. You can also see there's this purple A below the eye icon, top left of your gallery. So what we have here is the concept of grouping. So we can see that all these 4 desks have the purple A. If we mouse over those, we can see that's for human resources. And then if we scroll down further to desk 7 and 8, we can see that those desks are IT. Scroll down further and we can see desk 11 onwards is for finance. So if we go to the bottom left of the screen and right to the right hand side of the icons, we can see click to open settings pane. So if we click that, and now we can add or edit our groups. So here we can see those 3 groups that we've set up. So if I, for example, go to the HR group, we can see it's got an initial of A that will show in the gallery, and it's got this purple color. And now we've got these desks that are part of that group. We can add, remove desks as appropriate. And the reason why these groupings are important is because as a group booker, what I can go along and do is book all of these HR desks in one booking. So I don't have to make separate bookings. But again, we'll get to that when we get to the booking screen. Down the bottom on the left, we've got these icons. We've sort of been through the functionality. You can either click the icons here on the gallery itself, or you can come down to these icons here, the padlock, that sets a desk aside or unsets it aside. The thumbs up, that's for the approvals. So this is where you can set a desk to require approval or not. And then these people icon, this is to allocate specific users to be the only ones that are allowed to book a specific asset. And then, of course, as we've just seen, this settings pane icon, this is for managing your groups of assets. Now we'll move on to the user area of the application. So now we'll go to the My Bookings. So the bottom of the top 3 user sections on the menu. So when we go to My Bookings, quite self-explanatory. These are my bookings that I've had from today and everything in history. So I can check a checkbox to just show today's bookings, so I can see what I've got booked for today. And we can see here I've got 3, and that's because I've booked, all these have been booked by me. I've booked 1 for Billy, 1 for Bill, different people, and 1 for Sanjay. So because I booked these on behalf of, I also see these in my bookings. And I've got the option, because they're for today's, I can, so for today or the future, I can release, I can cancel these bookings. So I can cancel 1 or many of them. It's my choice. And also this concept of check-in. Because it's today's booking, I can check in now for this booking. So I can just click here and that will mark me as checked in to that booking. Now, because I'm an administrator, we can see here that I've got a show my bookings toggle. Now, standard users won't see this, but as an administrator, I see this and I can click this to the right. And now what I see is any bookings for anyone at all going forward. So no historic bookings, just from today onwards. And then that again gives me the ability to release or check in those bookings from today or any time in the future. So now we come on to the booking screen. So this is the main screen of the application, and this is the screen that users will land on when they open the application. So when we want to book, we have to decide what do we want to book. So I want to book a desk. Then you have the option for your locations, and then within those locations you could have, for example, floors. So the date defaults to today, so I want to book a desk for today. And so as we discussed on the booking admin screen, we can see all these all these icons that we'd set up that allow for things like allocated users, approvers, set-asides, etc. And so to prove this point, if we mouse over desk 6, we can see this was set up with a maintenance reason for it, and so we see that on tooltip. If we click this allocated users icon on desk 3, we can see here this was set up and only Mo can book this desk. Now we can see here, and again you can click on the map or you can click on the gallery to select your asset. As you can see in the admin screen, these were light pink, but here on the booking screen they're transparent, so the user sort of doesn't see them. So if we click on desk 1, we can see there's the key icon on desk 1, but in the gallery there's no key icon and we can just book. And the reason for that is it's allocated users, but we are one of those allocated users, so we can just go and book this asset. Desk 5, as we highlighted earlier, is for the approvals. Desk 6 and desk 8 we can see are set aside. We can also see these purple icons for the HR desks and the IT desks and the finance desks. So we can see the groupings of what desks belong to what teams. And as we also talked through, we've got this eye icon, but we can see the eye icon only appears on certain desks. So if we go to desk 1 eye icon, we can see the properties that we set up. It's wheelchair accessible, there's a 24-inch monitor, it's a window seat, for example, and there's nothing on desk 2. The point being, no properties have been set up for this asset, so the eye icon doesn't show. And in that vein, if we go to the drop-down list here, so we've got the desk, Hatfield, first floor. To the right of the first floor drop-down, we can see the eye icon appears, and that's because we put in HTML. In this case, it's just sample HTML, but the point being, you can put in any HTML you want here, including download links, etc., and that will appear if that's populated. So that's our booking screen as we can see in front of us. Again, as said, you click anywhere on the map or if you click in the gallery, that will select your asset ready for booking. So if I select desk 1 and go to book, we can see I can go and select AM and I can select a booking reason because we enforced the booking reason. So I'll say for group work, and now I've got the optional to send myself a confirmation email, or I can uncheck that. We can see that this is a HR desk that I'm booking now. Now I do have the option, because I'm an administrator, I can click the additional settings tab, and now we have the option to group book. So I can book all of the desks in HR if I want to, and you can auto allocate to a specific user right now at this time of booking, so they will get the invite, or by default it will just come to me. Now, as well as being able to book the group of desks, I can also repeat the bookings. So I can say I want to book these desks from this date up till, and this date here is where we work to the book ahead period that we talked about. So I think this is set to 2 months, but for this simple example we just do a few days ahead, and I can now book every Tuesday and every Wednesday between these dates. All these desks between these dates every Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll cancel out of that in this example. So just to book this desk, I'll undo the email and I'll click book. But just before I do, just to say, you can book for yourself by default. That's who it's set up as, or if you've got an external visitor or a colleague, you can change these details here and book for your external visitor or your colleague. So I'll click to book. So that now is booked for me. Now, there's a couple of ways to find out. So if I select desk 1 again, we can see here it's selected, and I click book. Here we can see that Bill Irvine has booked it. And the reason that doesn't show in the gallery is because I haven't set a specific slot. So if I select the AM slot, I can see that it's booked for Bill Irvine. Whereas if I select the PM, we can see it's still available. Also, you do get a Power Automate and adaptive card, so you can cancel your booking straight from the Teams chat. You don't have to come back into the application. The last piece of functionality that we'll go through for the asset booker is the search functionality. So this is the user-based functionality here. At the top of the menu, we've got search. So we'll click the search menu item, and we've got the option to search for people. So who is booked where? Properties. So what properties have been set up on what assets, and pre-booked set-asides. So we'll go through each of these. So to search for a person, which is your default as you land, you can see all the bookings that are for a specific date highlighted to you in the gallery. Now, because I'm an administrator, I also get this option. I can see this nonchalant face where I get the option to check this user in. So this could work for example, somebody on reception who sees users coming in, says, have you got a booking? Yes, you have. Okay, I'll check you in. And you could check in users on their behalf. We also have the ability to filter. So down here on the left of the screen, we can start to filter by people's names. So if we search for Sanjay's booking, okay, so I can see where Sanjay is today. He's at this location. And then that gives you the option if you want to. So if I just choose this one, for example, choose top record, I can click view, and I can go and click that view button. That will take me through to the booking, automatically highlighted and selected. And now if I wish to collaborate with Bill on a project, I can click the desk next to them and go and book, for example. So going back to search, what else we can search for are properties. So I'll select properties from the radio button, and we can see these are the properties that have been set up for the assets that we've configured. And so we can either just browse through, as we can see here in front of us, or to the left, we can filter by location, or indeed we can filter by unique properties. So if I know I'm looking for a wheelchair accessible desk, for example, I can click wheelchair accessible, and now that will filter down and show me all the assets that are wheelchair accessible. So we can see we've got these multiple assets that are wheelchair accessible. There's 2 in Hatfield, 1 in London. I can filter further by location if I want to, so we'll filter on Hatfield. So okay, so I can see I've got desk 1 or desk 3 that's wheelchair accessible. I think I'll go and have a look at desk 1 and see if that fits my needs. So just click the view button. That takes me through with desk 1 automatically selected, and then I can just click the book button to go and book that desk. The final option on search is the pre-booked set-asides. Now what this administrator only function gives you is if somebody's booked a desk out all week, and then on the Wednesday for some reason or another you have to set that desk aside, there's that leak in the ceiling, and so you have to set that desk aside, this will show you all the bookings made for that asset before you manage to put that desk aside. So this will be a list of those bookings, and from here you're able to click the button to cancel those bookings and send a notification to the user to tell them why it's cancelled. It may well be that you decide not to cancel, i.e. you know that that leak in the ceiling will be fixed before their booking arrives. Point being, it gives you the option to cancel and notify previous bookers if you want to do that. So that is the main features of the asset booker. So we've been through terms and conditions. That's optional. If you don't set them, they won't appear. And then the main administration functions. So you can manage your administrative users. You can set up whatever asset type you want, whether it be desk, car parking, maintenance tools, specialist equipment, your choice, and make that bookable by any time period that you feel appropriate. Then you can manage plans, so you can upload simple image floor plans. And then you've got the booking admin, so that's where you set the clickable areas. So when a user sees a map, you set that clickable area so that the user can select the asset that they want just by clicking on the diagram. And you can also do things like setting specific users only to be the ones that can book that asset, require approvals, or indeed make an asset unbookable. As well as that, you can start to add properties to an asset that are searchable. You got the My Bookings screen, and that was all your bookings, historic and present, and future, of course. And then if you're an administrator, you can see all present bookings and future bookings for all users. You can also check those users in and cancel their bookings. And finally, in terms of the functionality of booking, you've got the booking screen itself, and this is the landing screen for the application, and this is where you select what asset you would like to book for what time period, whether it be a group of, in this case, desks, and if you want to repeat that booking, so every Tuesday, for example. And the final piece was the search. And so the search gave you the option to search for people that were working at a location on a specific date. So you can go and search for a colleague, see where they're based, and you can go and book a desk next to them, for example, or you can search for an asset that's got specific properties. So in our desk example, we could search for a wheelchair accessible desk. We'd be presented with all those wheelchair accessible desks and then go and book the one that is appropriate for us. And so that's a summary, that's an overview of the asset booker and its capabilities. But remember, this is not the final part of the jigsaw, in the sense that you can request customizations to this. So it's worth considering this as a starting point. If you've got some other piece of functionality you wish to occur within the application, then we can get that in for you. And any requests you've got, we can sort of have a meeting with you, discuss what that will take to achieve that, and get that as part of the application. It's fully brandable, so you can put your own colors and your own logos on, etc. Even the on-screen icons that you can see for set aside approvals, etc., they also are configurable, so you can swap them out for icons of your own choosing should you wish to do so. So that's it for the Asset Booker. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us. admin@digpacks.co.uk. My name's Bill Irvine, so please feel free to get in touch with me as well, bill@digpacks.co.uk, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.